Begin tonight with Rina Shah, former senior GOP congressional advisor, member of Republicans for Harris. Meghan Hays, former special assistant to the president and director of message planning for President Joe Biden. Welcome, ladies, to you both. Meghan, start with you. Condemning violence is very easy. It's obvious. Why is it so hard for Democrats to condemn the rhetoric?
That's a great question, and I think that they're learning quickly that they are going to need to start to do that. I think that what we are seeing, you covered it in your piece, we are seeing a rise in this, and it's what happened here in Washington last night is disgusting and reprehensible. We all go to these events. We all are part of this city that has a...
Right. It's disgusting what happened. My question is why, over the past 18 months, weren't people saying that about all of the chants and all of the calls for violence against Jews?
You would have to ask them. I don't know. I was not one of those Democrats that was out there doing that.
What's so hard about it for them? Is it they can't alienate people in the party?
Yeah.
Is it that...
Yes, I think that they are playing to the progressive left, and I think that that is the big lesson out of 24 for Democrats. I think they are realizing that they need to play to the moderate Democrats. That is where the battleground states in the middle of the country is. Most people are moderate, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. Very few people are on the far sides of each party.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Rina, there's going to be more of this, isn't there?
Let me pull that thread, though, for a minute, if I may.
Yeah.
Muslim Americans in this country, in the modern era, have voted with Democrats, lockstep. They don't want to alienate that base. But one thing that changed with Trump being reelected in such an ahistorical fashion is this sense that, do we really have the Indian Americans, the Pakistani Americans, the whatever dash South Asian American that could be Hindu, Muslim, hey, even maybe the minority Jews that live in India? I'm just saying this is a tough moment because for so many months, it was like, hey, we've got your back because you're Muslim in America. And we think that's tough. This was the rhetoric coming out of the Democratic Party. And we're for you. Look, my mother immigrated here in 1980, my dad 1970. They met 10 years apart. And I would just say, my mother felt the Democrats always spoke directly to her, even though she was a rural American voter. And then when Mitt Romney stood for president, my mom's like, I like that guy. And then when Barack Obama stood for president, she said, I like that guy. And when Trump stood for president, my mother said she liked that guy. What is the thread
Your mom
here?
sounds like an interesting woman.
Yeah, I'm just saying, there are a lot more like my mother than we believe there are.
That is why we have swing states.
This is a tough moment because last night should have never have happened. The shooter did not know they were Israeli, knew they were Jewish.
Exactly.
Right.
That is the reckoning we have, Leland.
That's the issue. But is it time for Democrats to realize, A, they have a problem inside their own party, but B, that there is no way to fix that problem without actively cutting it out in the way Republicans were said they had to?
So I do think that a lot of Democrats understand there is a problem in the party.
They're just scared to deal with it.
I don't think that. I think that they are reckoning with the fact of what happened in 24 and trying to figure out where to go. It hasn't been that long after.
This isn't about elections. It's about.
But it is about elections, right? Because just like you were saying, that what they were doing was winning for them. They won in 2020. They've been winning in down ballot races. So we were doing was working for us. It did not work in 24, and that is what the reckoning of the party is happening. We are trying to figure out where our message is and what we are doing. I don't necessarily think you need to cut out the progressive left, but you need to talk to the people who are deciding elections, and those people are moderate.
Well, you have to tell the progressive left that no, for example, showing up at rallies where they're chanting from the river to the sea, the way AOC did at Columbia, is not acceptable, right? I mean, in the same way that if you had Republican members of Congress walking around with tiki torches, that would not be acceptable.
Right.
Absolutely. And I mean, I remember in 2020 at campaign rallies, we were being protested by climate protesters. And I remember one of our campaign staff was actually hit at a rally on the ground, physically assaulted. And those were climate protesters. We all have these factions, whether they're based in race, based in religion, based in
I wonder about those factions, Meghan, because honestly, what's happening is that most people do not understand what they're saying when they chant river to the sea. Right?
No, but it's not. Look, when you're wearing the same thing Yasser Arafat wore, which is a keffiyeh, it's not hard to figure out what that represents.
It isn't, but they don't want to draw that line because guess what? There's a bunch of lazy lawmakers right behind us who capitalize on the very fact that these people are misinformed and then will show up at the ballot box to vote what they're against versus what they're for.
Ignorance is not a defense.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.